Hey, it's Regina. Today I want to talk about the cost of not choosing. Most people think they are not choosing, but not choosing is still a choice. It's just not an intentional choice. And it's not always a conscious choice. So this whole choice topic doesn't only apply to big life decisions, right? This is also about the little moments where we avoid, where we delay, or where we just stay where we are. Not even because it's more comfortable, because most of the time it isn't, but it may be more convenient or more habitual. And we humans are such creatures of habit, aren't we? So this is also about changing your habits. The biggest cost in life is never the wrong choice. It is staying in indecision. It's not wanting to make a conscious choice. And that's also true for the little moments. It's in those little moments where we can practice what we then can also apply to those big life decisions, right? So not choosing looks like staying in conversations where we are not fully honest, for example, or in relationships that no longer fit us. Not saying what we actually think, keeping options open instead of committing, avoiding clear answers, or waiting for the right and never comes because there is no such thing. Doesn't mean that we always have to precipitate our answer. That's completely different, right? It's not about precipitating. Sometimes it is important to to find that so-called right moment. But if we avoid providing an answer or committing, then that's not about the right moment, right? This could also look like telling yourself you need more time, you need more clarity, you need more certainty. And again, that certainty then never comes. So, what's important is to notice that indecision or not making a choice can feel passive, but it's actually an active decision to stay where you are, right? Because you're doing something or you're omitting something in order to stay where you are. So the cost is not always immediately visible. It shows up as energy drain, as internal tension, as anxiety, feeling slightly off, but ignoring it. And it can often also look like losing trust in yourself over time because you're not trusting yourself to make decisions or to making choices, right? Every time you know something and don't act on it, that's like disconnecting from yourself. And that disconnection compounds over time. So you're not stuck because you cannot choose. You're stuck because you're choosing not to choose. Now, why don't we choose at times? Why don't we want to choose? We avoid choosing because we want to stay either comfortable, but oftentimes, as I said before, it's not really comfortable because then we get anxious and all, and this, yeah, something happens inside of us that doesn't really feel comfortable, but it might just seem more convenient or more habitual. It also could be that we're not choosing because we don't want to deal with the consequences. We're afraid, or we are afraid of uncertainty that this decision could bring. We don't want to disappoint others. We want to please others instead of pleasing ourselves. And instead of being true to ourselves and who we are and to our essence and our truth, right? Or we are not willing to face what the choice would require. We're not willing to commit. And, you know, we feel confused maybe, but it's not really confusion. It's just that moment of slight chaos, and that's not a bad thing. But most of the time, we already know. And if we just could admit and be honest with ourselves about this knowing, we admit that we already know what the choice is that we deep down inside of us want to make. And when we practice connecting with our heart, we always know. We don't always want to see it or hear it because it might have consequences, right? Now, let's just look at an example. Let's just say you are in a conversation and something feels off. You know that you're not being fully honest. So the default could be you let it pass and you stay on the surface, and then nothing is resolved. And in the next conversation, you're in a similar situation again with that person. A conscious choice, on the other hand, could be you say what is true for you, even if it feels uncomfortable while saying it. That is a moment of choosing, and it's an important choice that you can make. And of course, avoiding again is also a choice. Always have a choice, even when it seems you don't. We always have a choice, and actually not just one, but many, many unlimited choices. So maybe reflect on this. Where am I currently not choosing? And really, really reflect on this. Take time for that. Where in my life, where in my work, where in whatever area of my life, in my relationships, am I currently not intentionally choosing? Not choosing keeps things as they are. Choosing moves something. And you then can move in a different direction if you don't like the direction you're walking on right now. You don't have to change everything today, but you can choose one thing, and that's where everything starts. And then tomorrow you choose another thing. Where can you choose something different today? I'm going to leave you with that.